This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. In the new film Maddie's Secret, comedian John Early plays the title character, a burgeoning food influencer and a pathological people pleaser. As Maddie rises to internet fame, she spirals back into disordered eating that she thought she had under control. Now, the film is kind of campy. Maddie is bursting with optimism and also a little naivete. But it's not just satire. The undertones are very sincere, and the subject matter is intense. It's about a woman plagued by her desire to be perfect, generous, beloved, and most importantly, thin. The film had its New York premiere last night, and it's already been getting rave reviews. The Hollywood Reporter called it a triumphant tonal balancing act. The New Republic said it's a brilliant melodrama of social media. And a writer for IndieWire said it's one of the boldest American movies they've seen in years. My guest today is John Early, who wrote, directed, and starred in Maddie's Secret, which is playing now at IFC. Welcome back to the show.
Allison, it's so nice to be back.
It is nice to see you in this role as a director. When you sat down and thought, I'm going to be a director and I want to be a director on a set, what did you think a director should be? What should a director do?
Well, who knows? I mean, I guess that, I'm similar to Maddie, I guess, in that I am a pathological people pleaser. And I've worked with a lot of directors who are total tyrants. I think it was part of what kind of finally pushed me into doing this was wanting to see if you could have a set where it was fun.
Yeah.
Also I had just come off of working for the past 2 years with Andre Gregory in the Wallace Shawn play that we even discussed on this very show. So I really was kind of taking inspiration from him. He's such a kind, patient director. So I was trying to be like that. And then I was doing all of this, by the way, in a wig with double F breasts.
Yes.
To be very clear.
Yes, you play Maddie.
Yes, I play Maddie.
Was that always the case, that you were going to play Maddie?
Absolutely. There was never, I didn't write this script and then suddenly go, wait, it's me. It's always been me as the role. It was always built around me. I mean, everything I make always comes from some sort of performance instinct. And I build the project around that.
Yeah.
And in this case, I've always had this kind of ingenue character in my back pocket. She's just always like a chirpy, sweet little ingenue voice that I do kind of to make myself laugh, kind of to make fun of myself. I guess she's kind of this vehicle for my sincerity, and I wanted to see what would happen if I stretched it out from just a little joke I do to make myself chuckle to like an hour and a half. I thought something maybe a little mysterious and magical could happen if I did that.
What did you notice about the physicality of being a woman?
Well,
and how did you have to change besides the wig and the giant
Yes. Thank you. I noticed I had to kind of cut a lot of angles if I kind of stood, firmly in the ground, like kind of head on.
Definitely.
It didn't really help the illusion. I had to kind of always kind of like lean on a hip or something.
Sure.
But the thing that kind of shocked me is I thought I would have to undergo some sort of training program, or I'd have to really rehearse it. But it was really mysterious. Like the second I put the wig on, she just was there. Like she was just right there. It was really cool.
When did you realize, because it's a funny movie, but it's also a little bit dark
Yes,
too.
Sure.
When did you realize the movie was going to be a little bit heavy?
Well, I think I set out to make something very satirical. I thought I was going to make this really kind of fast, cheap movie with my friends, kind of in the spirit of those early John Waters movies. A really kind of handmade sleepover style movie. I imagined something with like kind of sharper teeth, a little bratty and ratty. And then, I don't know. I guess I've gotten older. I don't know. The second I started writing it, I just felt very protective of Maddie. I felt very maternal towards her, and it was a very bizarre experience. I just was like immediately weeping. Like I thought I was kind of above the genre that I was like tapping into. I thought I was maybe, cooler, smarter than this kind of TV movie genre I was kind of having fun playing with. And before I knew it, the genre was totally working on me and playing me like a fiddle. I mean, I was totally swept up into it. And so it made it scarier to take it seriously and to let the movie be as emotional as it clearly wanted to be. But I also had a feeling that I should trust that and keep going with it.
It's sort of interesting. You said the word bratty, and that is such a word for your 20s. Like, yeah, I'm making fun of this. And yeah, I'm cooler than this. And then as you get older, you start to realize some of those things that people feel, they matter to them.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm speaking with John Early about his directorial film debut, Maddie's Secret. He also wrote and starred in the film, which follows a burgeoning food influencer and a pathological people pleaser who struggles with an eating disorder. What's going on with Maddie when we first meet her in the film?
I like to think that we did a lot of wind in the beginning of the movie. We had this was a very, very low budget movie.
Well, were you going to say a leaf blower?
Oh yeah. No, we had multiple leaf blowers on set, and there's a lot of unmotivated breeze that I'm very proud of, like indoors. Mm-hmm. Like there's shots where Maddie's hair is blowing and there's not a single window open in the room.
You're where's that coming from?
I just was like, if we can add wind, let's find a way to add wind. But in addition to that, just looking beautiful and kind of enchanted on screen, I think she is being pulled by some sort of mysterious force at the beginning of the movie. I think she unconsciously is ready to kind of destroy this, as you say, pathological people pleaser thing in her. But she doesn't know she's doing that. So she's kind of, at least on a conscious level, I think at the beginning of the movie, she's full of hope and optimism, and she has dreams of going from being a humble dishwasher at this content farm to being to being more of a respected, known chef, maybe.
And in the film, she's a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And she sort of stumbles into her fame at home. We'll talk about her husband in a second.
Yes.
But you have to sort of go with the genre of the movie. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, it's like a after school special on ABC or like a Channel 7 movie of the week. And there's like a little ode to fame in there and the dance classes. It's sort of, it's a certain kind of the way it looks.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you got to the way it looks, because it's very clear when you first watch, you're like, oh, wait a minute, my nostalgia is coming back now.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make something that was very expressive, very visually expressive and bright and kind of dreamlike, like a fairy tale. And that's the whole kind of both the joke of the movie and what's dead serious about the movie, which is like it's dealing with all these kind of grim, kind of phone-based things about contemporary life, these like influencing and content and food media, these things and and viral fame, these are all very flat things that kind of fill me with dread in real life, and I wanted to inject that with a kind of old school cinematic expressiveness and colorfulness. So that was kind of the mission statement behind it. But, we were looking at lots of Brian De Palma and Douglas Sirk and lots of other pretentious things. I
went down a Douglas Sirk rabbit hole
cool.
earlier tonight.
Good.
Yes, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, and also Adrian Lyne, who did Flashdance and Unfaithful and Fatal Attraction. What I loved about Adrian Lyne, he was a huge visual influence for this, I didn't mean to use the past tense. He is very much alive. Sorry. The D just kind of slid out there. But there's so much haze in his movies.
Oh my gosh.
There's just these giant shafts of golden sunlight and haze passing through that. In sometimes you're like, what time of day is it supposed to be? It has a very kind of urban fairy tale kind of quality. And I I wanted to make something, even before I had a narrative, I just knew like I want to make contemporary life feel like a fairy tale. I want to pull people through like a kind of sweet little storybook kind of dream, you know.
And it's sort of interesting because the close-ups last just a second too long. Yes. They're just a second too long.
Well, I would say that happened because I was directing. So it's like I would be acting and then I'd be like, wait, who's going to call cut? And then I'd hold it for a long time and realize that it was me. I'm the director, and so I would be like, cut. Anyway.
It's pretty funny. All right, so when we meet Maddie, she's a dishwasher,
yes.
and her best friend is a dishwasher. Will you explain who her best friend is?
Well, Dina is played by my best friend, Kate Berlant, my comedy partner. And yeah, Dina is kind of a devoted, I would say, scarily devoted best friend. You know, Kate and I love to do the kind of Fatal Attraction, single white female, kind of psychosexual, obsessive friendship thing in a lot of our work. And I'm whenever I'm writing for Kate, I'm always like, well, is there something? Can we turn it? Can we turn up the dial a little bit and make it kind of terrifying? That's like our specialty, I think. So that's. I don't want to give anything away, but that's where that was born out of.
It's an important part of the movie.
Yes.
Let's listen to a little bit earlier in the movie. This is Dina, played by Kate Berlant, driving Maddie home and asking her if she likes being a good girl. This is from Maddie's Secret.
Thanks for the ride, Dina. Oh, Dina, the door's stuck.
Oh, sorry. Let it go.
Thanks.
Oh,
It's still,
sorry. There it is. It's a little finicky.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, Maddie! Don't you ever get tired of being such a good girl?
No.
No.
And there was a leaf blower off. I had to overdub that line, that no, because if you listen to the raw footage, there's such a loud leaf blower putting wind in my hair.
Oh, what other kind of corners did you cut on the film using the leaf blower? An example of like, hey kids, we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, it did have a very Judy and Mickey, let's put on a show kind of quality. I also, it was very important to me to work at a budget level where I could hire my friends. So like once you make something too expensive, they start suddenly needing like, Jacob Elordi to be in it in order to get financed. Like, so it was very, all due respect, I love him, but I really wanted this to feel more intimate than that, and so I got to hire a bunch of people, including myself, like amateurs. Like this was like basically all of our first features, and I got to populate the movie with friends. Even the background actors are my friends. So it was kind of an all hands on deck affair, and I think it gives the movie more of a handmade quality.
I'm speaking with John Early about his directorial film debut, Maddie's Secret. You hear in her voice, she's got kind of an affected voice a little bit. What was your calculus behind that intentional, it's not corniness, well, it's a little bit of corny, but it's like, just like, gosh, gee willikers.
Yeah, I mean, she's that's exactly right. I mean, she is that kind of archetype. She's Pollyanna. She's Sandra Dee. I think if you look at it more deeply, psychologically, I think it's just a life of never wanting to like harm anyone, or she doesn't want to seem threatening to anyone. So she's always kind of, modulating her voice. So it's always like perfectly gentle and easy it lands on the ear very easily,
It's very interesting. Now we're going to get into a little bit deeper into the script a little bit. And the more serious part is she's got disordered eating. Yes, right? Women are more than twice as likely as men to suffer from disordered eating. Did you know that was what was going to happen to her in this film? You knew that she had to have something to overcome. Was it always going to be that?
Well, it was kind of a byproduct of the genre I was living in. I knew I wanted to do this kind of lurid, kind of TV movie, melodrama, kind of sensationalistic tone. Like, you know, like a third, fourth, fifth rate Tennessee Williams play or something. And so if I chose this profession for her as like a kind of an aspiring chef, food influencer. And so it needed a kind of shadow side. And so quite quickly I was like, well, this makes sense. She needed her dark secret. And it made a lot of sense in the context of her profession. And you know, I grew up, this may come as a shock to you, Allison, but I'm gay. And I grew up really, and this is kind of still true, like only friends with women, with girls. And, you know, when I was a kid and a girl in our group would get an eating disorder, it was totally devastating. And and we were very, very young and kind of didn't know how to deal with it and didn't have the kind of vocabulary to deal with it. And it really rocked us. And I don't know, it's like I stumbled into it again because of like kind of the demands of the genre. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh, this is actually quite personal. This feels kind of almost like a love letter to my girlfriends from that age, you know. And we would watch these movies. We would watch eating disorder TV movies like at sleepovers, and we would scream, laugh. I mean, we were cackling at the kind of extremes of the style. Yeah. But we also they moved us too. You know, we were unafraid to let these kind of hokey genre films move us. I don't know, and that was so. I don't know. It's kind of that decision. Like, I can't really explain any of my decisions if I'm being honest, but I think that's where it comes from.
So you have sort of the genre of when you were young, but then you bring it to the present because you really include social media, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
It's a really big part of it. There's a moment in the film before Maddie goes viral, and she says to her husband, "I'm passionate about food, not social media."
Yeah.
And that's a big commentary in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Whether they mean it or not, that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Is that something you felt about social media?
Definitely. I mean, I really relate to Maddie, and I think a lot of people do. I think it's a strange kind of mutation in our culture that we're all expected to just like yield to this force, you know, and we all have to kind of pretend like it's this benign kind of force for good when we know that it's totally destroying the world. And you know, it's been an incredibly antisocial force on culture, even though it's called social media. But I think Maddie's really actually quite pure of heart, and I think she means it. I really think she means it when she says that. I think has a very, because she also knows if she enters into that world, that's her secret. Like if she enters into that world, it could reawaken some demons, you know. But I guess I just wanted to do, that was like the kind of basis of the fairy tale, like a kind of pure of heart person going to the dark forest of social media.
I have to ask about Kristen Johnson playing her mother.
Yes.
She's awful and hilarious.
Yes.
Was she the inspiration for this character?
Yes. So even Kristen Johnston, I am shocked to say, is a friend. She was my teacher at NYU.
Oh, wow.
She was at the Atlantic Acting School. I signed up for that studio because I knew she was an alum of it when I was 18 years old. And, you know, she embodies everything I love in actors. Like she's so expressive and can be so kind of comedically broad, but it's never at the expense of some sort of fundamental humanity or pain. Like, and it's not compartmentalized. Like it's not like now she's goofy, now she's a serious actress. It's totally integrated. I think her darkest moments have some sort of comedic element. Most comedic moments have some sort of emotional element to them. I idolize her, and she, to me, is just like, she is she is the tone of this movie embodied perfectly.
That's so interesting because I did have a question here. Like, what did you learn from Kristen Johnson? And she was your teacher.
Yes, she was actually my teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a dream. I was like, I was, sitting in the back of class, just like screaming, laughing at everything she was saying. And we stayed in touch over the years. And, she told me, or she told the class actually, that the thing that made her want to be an actress was The Wicked Witch, And so I was like, Kristen, I have a role for you that is, you would be like Margaret Hamilton. You would be haunting this movie. And she was so kind to do it because Lord knows she's got a lot on her plate.
So in this film, you take us to a hospital, you take us to a dance class, you take us on set at a content farm. What was the hardest decision you had to make as a director?
Well, maybe the dance, like the dance was in the final week, and I was having a kind of meta Maddie moment too. I felt I was kind of self-destructing over the course of the shoot. I was so tired, and I was like, at one point I hit my head on a car door and I had no idea, and I was like bleeding down my face as I was talking to you. Like, we were all totally exhausted, as happens on film sets, and we somehow in the final week had to do the dance stuff. And I could have simplified the choreography. I could have said, let's just like take it easy. This is too insane. I'm bleeding. But I was like, we have to do it. We have to do it. So I think that was one of the hard decisions. On our 2 days off, we were in a dance studio learning the choreography instead of resting.
This means you have to go see Maddie's Secret so you can see that dance scene.
Yes.
I have been speaking with John Early. He'll be doing Q&As at the IFC Center all week long with Carlo Lally Music, John Wilson, Amy Sedaris, and Sarah Sherman. Tickets are sold online, but if you can get to the IFC this weekend, you might get lucky. They're sold out, I should say.
Yes.
But
you can stand by.
You can stand by.
Yeah.
John, thanks for coming in.
This is a dream. I love being here. I want to come back very soon.
Okay, please do. I'm Allison Stewart. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you. We'll meet you back here next time.
Thank you.